We're now joined by Stefano Sironi, the co-founder and CEO at Axioma Europe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Apparently you speak 3 different languages and lived in 5 different countries growing up.
Yeah, I have.
What language do you speak?
I speak French, English, and Italian fluently, and German.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up between California, Italy, Paris, the UK now, and a couple of other countries.
Very quickly before you start your pitch, where was the best one?
California.
Of course.
Yeah.
Are you ready to pitch?
Yeah, let's do it. So Axioma is an AI-powered marketplace for insurance claims handling, which sounds a lot more complex than it actually is. Inefficiency is costing consumers and insurers billions every year. Over the past 8 years, you've had a situation in which insurance premiums have increased. At the same time, you've had a reduction in road accidents and claims notified over the same period. So you would expect insurers to be increasing in profitability. That hasn't been the case. I wanted to find out why, and I went off with my co-founder to interview hundreds of claims handlers. What we found out is that on average, it takes about 30 days to handle a claim. The key reasons behind this inefficiency in processing claims is, one, that there's a huge backlog that's created that's clogging up the claims pipeline. And secondly, insurers are pretty poor in how they deal with third-party suppliers. If you put this into context, you can see that on average in the UK, a cost of a repair is about £1,800. As well, on average, the cost of a replacement car is about £100 a day. So you can see that time is really equal to money in this case, because you have claims value exploding because of the fact that you have a replacement car on the road for so long. This is how the typical claims handling process works. You notify your insurance company, you speak to an FNO clerk, so a first notification of loss clerk, who takes your details and a narrative of what happened during the crash. They send off this file to an assessor, who then basically takes care of assessing the claim and then finding a third-party supplier to handle the repair, for instance. Now, the backlog's created because virtually every claim that passes through the call center ends up on the desk of the assessor. The second issue happens because insurers today are price takers. Now, what I mean by that is that insurers that only find out what happens in terms of cost of repair once the car is actually out at the garage. So how do we solve this? We've come up with an algorithm that we provide to the insurance company that classifies claims between complex and simple. If the claim is simple and we verify that it's simple, and it doesn't need follow-up or human input, we send it off to a marketplace where that allows the insurer to do the price discovery prior to the car actually going off for repair. Oh, okay. So how does the claims engine actually work? The claims engine works on 3 different levers. We have a primary filter that assesses if there's injury, if the police went out, and how many vehicles were involved. We have a contextual filter that checks how you were driving, where you were driving, when you were driving. And then we do a preliminary repair assessment to assess whether or not the car is actually worth fixing. Once we've assessed that the claim is simple, we send it off to the marketplace. Now, the claims engine feeds the marketplace with 3 points of data. It gives it the type of vehicle, the type of damage to the vehicle, and the location of the vehicle. Then the marketplace automatically selects repair shops. It selects 3 repair shops based on their capacity, their ability to fix a car, and it sends off the quotes to them. The repair shops then reply to the quote and give their feedback and input on the repairs. I want to leave you with 4 investment takeaways. So we have a clear path to revenue generation because we're basically building a model which is based on software as a service, which is a proven business model, a marketplace which is as old as time in terms of business model. We have a very unique selling proposition because we basically function at the intersection between 3 different technologies, between process management, vertical automation, and marketplaces. We have a highly scalable business model because at the end of the day, a claim is a claim, whether it's in the UK or whether it's in Europe or whether it's in the US. So how you handle a claim and the issues that insurers have in handling claims is typically the same everywhere. we're getting customer traction. So we managed to attract really, really talented industry professionals to join our team, both at the management level and at the advisory level. And we have a clear route to market because we're partnering with a leading technology company that handles claim data gathering. This is how we generate revenue. This is the execution team. You have myself, my co-founder, our CTO. Then you have a senior developer that handles the development of the marketplace, a data analyst, and a offshore development team. And that's our pitch.
Thank you, Stefano. Have you got any questions, Steve?
Yeah, I'd like you to tell me a little bit more about the stage and the traction you have. So you're launching in a couple of months' time, is that right? Or a little
Yeah, so we're actually in negotiation with this company that provides data gathering. So what I mean by that is they basically film the damage to cars and damage to assets, and then they provide that to the insurance company. So our go-to-market strategy is to piggyback a little bit on their relationship with the insurance companies and provide them with the algorithm. So they gather the video, we tell them what additional data we need, and then we provide them feedback. So we say, okay, you took the video of this car that's damaged. This is what happened during the crash. We think it's a simple claim. Send it off directly to the marketplace. So in terms of timing, we expect to be sort of at a production level of the software in around 2 months, 3 months, and expect to start selling by sort of second half of this year.
And
with an MVP.
You mentioned a lot about cars. Do you do other insurance claims as well?
No, so we're starting with cars because I have a sort of insurance, motor insurance background, and our network is there, and I know claims handling or motor claims handling, but this is also applicable. There's no reason why it wouldn't be applicable for other insurance claims like home insurance, like P&C.
What is your background in motor insurance?
So I worked initially, so I started my career in investment banking. Mm-hmm. I left investment banking after sort of 5 years. I went into InsurTech, and I worked at a company that did driving behavior. So what they did is they installed black boxes inside of your car. They assessed how you were driving, and then they would price the insurance like that, based on your driving. And that's where the idea of Axioma came out of, basically, because I thought, well, it's great to assess the driving behavior of somebody, but it would also be great to know once they have a claim, assess whether the claim is simple, whether it's complex, and sort of triage it and make it follow different routes, let's say.
So that's where you got the idea from?
Yeah.
And is that how you met your team as well?
Well, my co-founder is a friend of my wife, and my CTO is I met through a headhunter, but it turned out that he used to work at the same bank that I worked at, and then the development team I just sort of found. So none of them were actually working with me in insurance. Some of the senior advisors were, but yeah.
Can I ask, without going too technical, a little bit more about the AI? Is that?
Yeah. So what we've done is we took 130,000 claims or crashes, and we ran them through a machine learning algorithm to see what correlates with what. So what we found was that there's clear signals, right, between what happened as a context, where you were you driving at night, were you driving towards a junction, were you driving, what did you crash in a roundabout, and the complexity. So how many cars were involved, how many people got hurt, if people got hurt. And that's where sort of the idea came out of, is really just sifting through all this data and seeing if there were patterns, and there are patterns. So the next step for us is really to say, okay, we have this system that's proven, why don't we go and field test it with insurance claims?
Just a question that came into my head. Where do you think all this goes with like driverless cars?
Ooh.
That's an interesting point. So I think as cars become driverless, first of all, driverless cars will come out, I think, in 10, 15 years. That's the first step. The second, sort of where we're going with it is we're not just creating a claims handling platform. I'm passionate about claims handling, but what we're really trying to do is create a bridge between the insurance company, facilitate a bridge between the insurance company and the repair network. And what my vision for the company is, once driverless cars come out, why not have the driverless car directly pay the repair network, right? So we start handling claims, we start handling the relationship between the insurer and the repair network. The moment that the car goes and needs repair by itself and decides it needs repair by itself, hey, we already have that relationship, we can handle the payments. So in reality, what I want to build is a sort of payment platform for the autonomous vehicle. And the way we're going to do it is by step. First, we go to the insurers, we sell a claims handling platform, then we build on the marketplace, then we wait for the autonomous car to come out, and then we have a payment platform.
So you've got two different revenues, really.
Yeah.
The mechanics and the insurance companies.
Exactly.
I suppose we'll always need to have insurance, won't we? I mean, even in a driverless car, you can't just go driving about.
Yeah, no, of course. And actually, it's quite interesting because the insurance company will end up insuring the company, right? The OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, so the car maker. And you can say, okay, the probability of an autonomous car crashing is really low, but if they do crash, it's a huge liability. So at the end, the insurance still has a huge role to play, right? It's going to be really interesting actually to see how insurance will adapt. My personal view is that potentially you're going to see a lot of companies coming up with like syndicating risk. So every time a car goes out, like an autonomous car goes out on the road, maybe an insurance company doesn't want to take the full risk. So they need to syndicate it. They need to create a panel of insurers that will potentially insure Tesla every time it goes on the road, or whatever, an autonomous car that goes on the road.
It's going to be interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Stefano, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
If you'd like to find out more about Axioma Europe, you can do so on Crowd for Angels on their website.